The students, about ad hoc networking security, we are in second unit, and we discussed in the last class about ad hoc networking security definitions, and we have seen applications of ad hoc networking security, and we are discussing about the evaluating ad hoc networking protocols. So in the protocols we discussed about the different algorithms of protocols, that are DSDV, destination sequence distance vector, TORA, that is temporarily ordered routing algorithm, AODV, ad hoc on demand distance vector, WRP, wireless routing protocol. These are the different protocols yesterday we discussed, we listed out, and we are going to continue the last class about the protocols and the routing mobility. Okay, so in continuation with that, we are now at routing and mobility. We are at routing and mobility. So here we are going to discuss about the routing about the packets. Routing about the packets. Routing is nothing but it is how the packet is transmitting from source to destination, and what are the challenges it is making to face is about the mobility or comfortability of the packet. Okay, so here about routing and mobility, it is finding a path from a source to destination. Yes, always a packet is transmitting from source to destination. Here it is finding the path. Not only finding the path, establishing the connection from the source to destination. Okay, so what are the issues in the routing? There are the frequent route changes. Okay, so the frequently the route, the path is changing from place to place, or in between the transmitting, there are the frequencies also may be a reason, and route changes may be related to host movement. Okay, route changes also may be related to the host. Who is the host here? Who is sending the packets from source to destination? It is also it may be changed. And low bandwidth links. Sometimes what happens, because of some any other issues or like that, the bandwidth also will be minimized, so that there will be a chances of losing the information. Amount of data transferred between route changes may be much smaller than traditional networks. Okay, so because of this low bandwidth links, what happens, the amount of data, that is packet the capacity is transferred between route changes may be much smaller than traditional networks. The network is established, maybe is the data is minimized than the networking. So goal of routing protocols. What is the purpose of the routing protocols? What is the goal actually? It is in a smooth way the packet has to be reached at the destination, is it not? From source to destination the packet has to be reached. So what is the goal of routing protocols is decrease routing related overhead. Okay, decrease the routing related to overhead, and find short routes. Okay, sometimes, so always it is find the shortest path of the path to see from the source to destination, and find stable routes. Okay, so when the connection is established from the source to destination, the path should be stable. Then only stable is nothing but it is, as you know, that consistency when it is established. Okay, so the frequently the packets have to be transmitted. Otherwise what happens, the route may be disconnected and there is a chances of losing the packet, is it not? That is known as the route. Find stability routes is about how the mobility of the packet, how it is mobiling the packet. Here we can see the image how the source to destination the packet is transmitting between the routers. Okay, here we can see the router 1, 2, 3, and from source to destination, that is mobile host. Okay, and it is the packet is transmitting from source to different routers. What are the different routers are there? Here it is from the source to destination, maybe any number of routers, and source to destination the packet is transmitting. Okay, through the mobile internet protocol. Through the mobile internet protocol. Okay. This is one more example that from a source to destination, a packet is transmitting from router 1 and router 2. Okay, so from router 2, router 3, and router 3 is about, it is related to the destination end where mobile, it is related to the mobile host, and it is transmitting, that is here it is up to router 1, 2, 3, or it is home agent, it is related to the source destination, where it is beyond that it is related to the destination end, that is foreign agent. Okay, that is known as the related to the destination end is known as foreign end, and the packets are tunneled using internet protocol to internet protocol, that is from the place to place the packets are moving. Here we can see that home agent and foreign agent. Okay, foreign agent is related to the destination, home agent is related to the source. Okay, next we are going to discuss about the routing in MANET. Routing in MANET. What is MANET? Mobile Adder Networking Security. Okay, unicast routing protocols. Unicast, that is single routing protocols, and many protocols have been proposed, that some specifically invented for MANET. Some routing protocols are invented for, that is mobile adder networking security. Other adapted from protocols for wide networks. Okay, so few are using for MANETs and few are using for wide networks, and no single protocol works well in all environments. Yes, see, according to the situation, according to the purpose, different protocols will be used for different purposes. So some attempts made to develop adaptive or hybrid protocols. What is hybrid protocols? It is for multi-dimensional. The protocols will be used for different environments. So standardization efforts in IETF. Okay, so standardization efforts, internet in existence of the protocol. Okay, internet existence of the protocol, and MANET, that is mobile networking protocol. Okay, here we can see the routing protocols. What are the different protocols are there? The routing protocols are divided into three types, that are proactive, reactive, and hybrid. What is a proactive, what is reactive, what is a hybrid? Proactive is nothing but it is in advance the protocols will be implemented in advance. What is in terms of in advance? See, initially it is the path will be established. What is reactive? Reactive is based on the information is received from the destination. Okay, is it not? Getting my point? Reactive, it is reacting according to the destination, the responses. Proactive means it is initially the source is taking the initiation to send the packets. Hybrid is about it is for proactive or reactive, both. Okay, so proactive protocols are about it is initially the source is initiated to send that packet. So traditional distributed shortest paths, the protocols. Okay, and table driven protocols, that is proactive protocols, and it maintains routes between every host pair at all times. Okay, so route is established between the host and sender and receiver, and it for the throughout the process of transmission it will be paid. Okay, and based on periodic updates, it will be updated based on the periodic updates. Okay, and for example, destination sequence distance vector. For example, DSDV is as proactive protocols. What is a proactive? It is the source is initiated to send the information from source to destination. Okay, reactive protocol is on demand from the receiver. On demand of the receiver, it source is activated as a sending. So determine route if and when needed. Okay, when there is a request, based on that source is sending the packet. Okay, determine route if and when needed on demand from the high latency. Source initiates route discovery. So source is initiating the route discovery and may not be appropriate for real-time communication. It is not appropriate for real-time communication. Example is dynamic source routing. The protocol is for dynamic source routing is used for reactive protocols. Hybrid protocols is about adaptive, that is combination of proactive and reactive, and example is zone routing protocol. It is about a zone where a area is located. This adaptive combination of proactive and reactive protocols will be used. Okay, so protocol trade-offs. What is the trade-off of the protocols? Proactive protocols are always maintain the routes. Proactive protocols are will use the routes. Okay, and little or no delay for route determination. Okay, there may be a little time or no delay for the sending the packets from source to destination in proactive protocols, and consume bandwidth to keep routes up to date. Okay, so what are the paths that routes are using for routers will be consumed, will be employed, will be for the same bandwidth to keep routes up to date. Okay, and maintain routes which may never be used. Okay, so the what are the packet route is using will be used for no problem way. Okay, maintain routes which may never be used, where the empty lines are there, empty routers are there, which are free, will be used. Reactive protocols trade-offs is lower overhead since routes are determined on demand. It is about lower overhead, and since routes are already determined on demand. Significant delay on route determination. Okay, significance will be there. Significance delay on routing determination, and employ flooding. Flooding is overflow of the route, the paths. Employ the flooding global search. Okay, control traffic may be bursty. Because of flooding there is a jam. There is a control traffic may be bursty. It will be overloaded because of the number of the routes that is there, and which approach achieves a better trade-off depends on the traffic and mobility patterns. Okay, so it is the best approach achieves a better trade-off depends on the traffic and mobility patterns. Reactive routing protocols. So first of all we'll see what is the reactive routing protocols. Okay, here we are discussing about the reactive and proactive. Okay, hybrid. Okay, so now we are going to see the reactive routing protocols. The dynamic source routing is used for reactive protocols, that is DSR, the dynamic source routing. Just now we discussed. So DSR is a reactive protocol, and source identifies and embeds the entire sequence of hops in a message packet for sending it to any destination. Source identifies the path. Source identifies and embeds the entire sequence of hops. It embeds the sequence and in a message of packet for sending it to any destination. The requirement for periodic route advertisement is eliminated. Okay, so the requirement for periodic route advertisement is eliminated. The battery power can be conserved as nodes need not be in active state to receive route advertisement. So what is advertisement here? It is a connection established from the source to destination initially before sending the packets. So it is not needed. It is not. The battery power can be conserved as nodes need not be in active state to receive route advertisement. In a less dynamic environment, valid routes can be found more often without root discovery. So without the root discovery, the less dynamic environment will be employed in is valid and for roots to be found. Asymmetric communication is supported. We know that what is asymmetric, both sides it is possible to communicate. Dynamic source routing. Dear sir, dynamic source routing algorithm, when node S wants to send a packet to node D but does not know a route to D, node S initiates a route discovery. What happens here? It has to send the packet to D, but where the D initiates the path is not mentioned to S, but still that S is sending the source to destination D and it initiates, discovers the route to from S to D. Okay, D is a destination where the path is not found from S, but still it will discover the route from source to destination. And source node S floods route request. Okay, source node S floods route request, that is RREQ. Okay, RREQ, that is route request is from source to destination, though it doesn't have the information about the D. Each node appends own identifier when forwarding. So each node is appending, is observing, is because it is going next to finding the path to which it doesn't know the destination of D. So it is going to append the next, and it is identifying when it is requesting. Route requesting is for forwarding. Okay. So what are the assumptions of dynamic vector? That is, host cooperate to forward data and control packets to allow nodes not directly within wireless range to communicate over multiple hops. So the host cooperate. Who is the host here? The sending is to forward data and control packets to allow nodes not directly within wireless range to communicate over multiple hops. And host move without notice but at a moderate speed with respect to packet transmission latency. So host is transmitting the packets step by step to the unknown destination of finding the path. Okay. So overview of DSR. The uses two mechanisms. It is using the two mechanisms, that are route discovery and route maintenance. Yes, it is discovering the route, and not only discovering, it is maintaining the route. Okay, it is maintaining the route. Route discovery is about node S wishing to send a packet to destination D, find the source route to D initiated when S attempts to send a packet and does not already know the route. We are discussing about the unknown destination is finding based on the request from D. The packet is sending from source. Okay, and route maintenance. Route maintenance is yes, using a route to D detects if new or old topology has changed and a link along it is broken. It informs yes to use another route to D or to initiate a new route discovery. Here D is requesting RREQ. Okay, based on that S is sending and finding. Before that it is establishing the connection. Okay, route maintenance is done only when S actually attempts to send a packet to D. S want to send a packet to D, then only the maintenance is taking the place. Purely on demand operation reduces the overhead due to periodic exchange of control packets that is required in proactive protocols to zero. Okay. So how the route discovery is taking place? The route request packet RREQ contains initiator ID, okay, and destination ID and route record and a unique request ID set by the source. All are setting by the source. What it is setting? That is, request packet contains initiator ID, destination ID, route record and unique request RREQ. Okay, the request ID allows intermediate nodes to discard the duplicate request root request packet and preventing repeated flooding. Node receiving a root request packet would execute the following algorithm. So what is the algorithm? The node algorithm. It is, if the target ID matches with it, send root reply. Okay, if it matches only, it will send. Otherwise, else, if the source ID and request ID matches with any of the recent request packets, then discard. If it is not matches, it will be discarded. And step 3 is, else if it finds its own ID in root record, then discard the packet. Or also the packet will be discarded. Or else, fourth step, append the address of self with the root record of the request packet and rebroadcast the whole process is divided by 4 steps. That is, it is the target is matches, and it is IDs is having the source, and if it is matches is okay, otherwise it is discard. Or if it is not, it is going and attaching the appending the IDs, and it is reaching the packet to the destination. Okay, so root reply is, each node in the network maintains a root cache. Okay, and when initiator of a root request receives a root reply, it catches the route to destination. To send a root reply, the target looks into its own cache. The target looks into its own cache. If no root is found, then target initiates a root discovery but piggybacks the reply on it. Piggybacks is small information is receiving, and this avoid endless recursion. This is the repetition process when it is not the path is set up, not done. Okay, the target can also reverse the root record from root request to send the reply. Okay, so just I am checking whether it is recording or not. Yes. Okay. Retransmission of request. Retransmission of request, that is, initiator saves a copy of packet to be sent in local send buffer before sending router request packet. Otherwise, what happens? Whatever the packet is sending from source to destination, unknown destination, it is initiating and it is sending. The packet will be recopied. Okay, so packet will be that is it is the copied. Okay, so initiator saves a copy of packet to be sent in local send buffer before sending the it is for retransmitting. Packet is discarded from the buffer after some time. If it receives the confirmation of the sending the packet, then the copy of the packet will be eliminated, will be removed. Packet is discarded from the buffer after some time. What is some time here? It receives the signal that it is sent. So destination is received. Okay. So when packet is in send buffer, it periodically initiates root discovery if no root reply has been received. Until unless it not received the received, still that the packet will be there. Okay. And each node can be made responsible for delivery of packet to next hop. Okay, passive acknowledgement can be used if available to detect if packet reached destination. So third alternative is to set a bit in packet header for a software specific acknowledgement from next hop. So the acknowledgement may traverse a different route than original packet. The different travels also may be fine. So if the packet retransmitted some maximum number of times at some hop which does not receive an acknowledgement, then root error is generated by the hop and send the sender. Okay, so the root will be generated, the receiver end it will be sending to the receiver. Okay, when error packet is received, root cache flushed. What is the flushing here? The error packet is received, then cache will be refreshed, or else it is refreshed, the packet will be, the copy of the packet will be removed. the packet is sent by alternative route to or route discovery is initiated again. It is route discovery also will be, what is route discovery? It is unknown based on the request from D, the packet is sending from A and it is appending the hopes. It is appending the hopes. Okay. Route discovery in DSR. How? It is, these are the hopes or A, B, C, D, F, G. It is source to destination. The packet is sending from source to destination and between the host. Okay. Here you can see the different hopes it is connecting and it is establishing the connection. Okay. And it is going to the D destination. Okay. D destination. See how the packet is transmitting between the hopes. Okay. And here it is like this, and by using the different hopes it is transmitting the packet to the destination D. Okay. So far we are discussing about RREQ, that is request sending from the destination, it is packet is sending from the source by using the hopes. Route discovery in DSR. Okay, route discovery in destination D on receiving the first RREQ sends a route reply. Okay, RREP, that is route request based on the route request that is sends a reply, and RREP, that is reply is sent on a route obtained by reversing the route appended to received by RREQ. RREQ is requesting, RREP is the reply. So RREP includes the route from S to D on which RREQ was received by node D. Yes, because from D it is requested, it receives the request. So based on that, RREQ is initiated by appending the hopes. Okay, here it is like this. Okay. DSR optimization. Okay, route caching. Each node caches a new route it learns by any means. Okay, by appending the hoop, it is sending the packet. When node S finds route S, E, F, J, D, the hops to node D, node S also learns route S, E, F. From this end, it is finding the hop and it is coming towards the D, and it is from D also it is finding the route packet. When node K receives route request SCG destined for node K learns route, that is both ends is coming from the both ends. Okay. And when node F forward route reply RREP, that is reply, node F learns route FJD to node D. When node E forwards data through hopes SEGFGD, it learns route, and when it comes to near, it finds out the path is coming from the destination end also. Okay, a node may also learn to route when it overrides the data. Okay, so here the problem is stale caches may increase overheads. It is stale is catching the increase the overheads. Okay, so when node S learns that a route to node D is broken, it uses another route, another hope from its local cache. If such a route D exists in its cache, otherwise node S initiates route discovery by sending a route request. Yeah, okay, node X on receiving a route request for some node D can send a route reply if node X knows a route reply. Okay, node and use of route caches can speed up route discovery, also can reduce propagation of route request, also minimizes the speed and the reduce also propagation to request. You can see here use of route caching, how the SEF JD or the route request is going from the source to destination by using the hopes SEF JD and EFJD. From one side it is coming through the hopes, and from destination and also it is finding the RR based on the RR EQ. Okay, so PQR represents cached route at a node. Use of route caching is can speed up route discovery. It is minimizing the time and the efficiency. When node Z sends a route request for node C, node K sends back to a node reply, that is JK GC, a node hope to node Z using a locally cached route. Okay, so this is about how the packet is transmitting from source to destination can reduce propagation of route request based on the route request. This is RE route error. Okay, so what happens sometimes, it is the sending the packet from source to destination, RE that is route request error. Route request error may be happened. So J sends a route error to S along route JFES, and it attempts to forward the data packet S with route in another route. It is initiating and sending JD fails. Okay, so nodes hearing RERR, that is the error happened, update their route cache to remove link J to D. Okay, so route caching, we have to beware of about stale caches can adversely affect performance. It affects the performance, and with the passage of time and host mobility, cached routes may become invalid. A sender host may try several stale routes. Several stale routes that is obtained from local cache or replied from cache by other nodes, and before finding a good dynamic source routing advantages. What are the advantages of dynamic source routing algorithm? So routes maintained only between nodes who need to communicate. To whom need to communicate only will be communicated. Flood of route request may potentially reach all nodes in the network. Potential collisions between route requests propagated by neighboring nodes. Okay, so increased contention if too many route replies come back due to nodes replying using their local cache. Okay, so stale caches will lead to increase the overhead. Just now we have seen. Okay, location aided routing, LAR, location aided routing algorithm exploits location information to limit scope of route, that is request flood, and expected zone is determined as a region that is expected to hold the current location of the destination, and route request limited is to a request zone that contains the expected zone and location of the sender zone. Here we can see how the request is generated from the destination. Define a request zone from D. Here the request is generated from D to the source destination. Okay, source. Okay, here it is generating a request from D to S. Okay, and what are the advantages? Reduces the scope of route request flood, reduces the flood request, and reduces overhead of the route discovery. What are the disadvantages of location aided routing algorithm? Nodes need to know their physical locations. The nodes should understand the location of the nodes and does not take into account possible existence of obstructions for radio transmission. So what are the beyond their limitations, the overflood they have to not consider, they should not consider. Okay, not take into account possible existence of obstructions beyond their limitations, the problems that it is getting for radio transmissions. Okay, so ad hoc on demand distance vector routing, that is AODC, ad hoc on demand vector distance vector routing. DSR includes source routes in packet headers. Okay, and resulting large headers can sometimes degrade performance, and particularly when data contents of a packet are small. Okay, so AODC attempts to improve on DSR by maintaining routing tables at the nodes so that data packets do not have to contain roots. AODC retains the desirable features of DSR that roots are maintained only between nodes which need to communicate. It is communicating to which nodes have to through the packet. Okay. So AODC ad hoc on demand vector is using as RREQ. Okay. Request routes are forwarded in a manner similar in DSR. How a request is sending from destination to source. Based on that, source is sending a packet by using the hops. When a node rebroadcasts a route request, it sets up a reverse path pointing towards the source. Okay, that is bidirectional link. When the intended destination receives a route request, it replies by sending a route reply, RREP, route reply. So route reply travels along the reverse path setup when route request is forwarded. Okay, here also we can see how the hops are using for route request in AODC. Okay, here see how the packet is transmitting how the packet is transmitting from source to destination by using SEF. The different paths are ABH or ABHCG or SEG or SCG, like that. Okay, so that packet is transmitting between the different paths to sending to the destination D. Okay, so more or less it is using the different paths. Okay, see how the forward path setup in AODC. The forward path is set up in between SEFJ to D. Source to destination, it is E to F to J and towards D. Okay, so route requesting and route reply. Route requesting, the same process is explained here in the in terms of the statements. Okay, link failure. Sometimes what happens? Link failures, then it regenerates the request. Okay, so here it is, the AODC is about routes need not be included in packet. Okay, routes need not be included in packets, and nodes maintain routing tables containing entries only for routes that are in active use, and at most one next hop per destination maintained at each node. DSR may maintain several nodes here in each node. Sequence numbers are used to avoid our old broken routes. Old broken, that the old path is not able to sending, it regenerates the next path. Okay, sequence numbers prevent formation of routing loops, and unused routes expire even if topology does not change. Okay, so the unused will be removed. Okay, so the different other protocols also there. It is ad hoc summary. We discussed about the different protocols, that is ODC and AODC, and just go through this. If you find any, if you want to know more about this, we can communicate. My mail ID is there. Okay, so that we can discuss more about the topics. Thank you.